It usually starts with a feeling of unfamiliarity. You look in the mirror or you look at your partner and you feel untethered. Maybe you used to be the peacemaker. You were the one who remembered every birthday, the one who smoothed over every argument, the one who could multitask without breaking a sweat. But suddenly, around age 42, 44, or 46, the tolerance is gone. The patience has evaporated. You feel a sudden rising heat, not just physically, but emotionally. You find yourself looking at your life and asking, is this it? Am I done doing things for everyone else? If you are a man watching this because your wife has suddenly changed, you might think she's having a breakdown. If you are a woman watching this, you might fear you are losing your mind or getting early dementia. But I am here to tell you that you are not crazy. You are not broken. You are going through one of the most significant neurological upgrades a human being can experience. Scientists refer to the hormonal chaos of this time as perimenopause, but psychologists and anthropologists have a better name for it. They call it the second puberty. In this video, we are going to dive deeper than just hot flashes. We are going to look at the neuroscience of why women over 40 stop people-pleasing, why the nice girl mask falls off, and why this terrifying transition is actually the gateway to the most powerful phase of a woman's life. Let's start with the biology, because you cannot understand the behavior without understanding the chemistry. Most people think hormones like estrogen are just about making babies. They think it's reproductive, but that is only half the story. Estrogen is a master regulator in the female brain. It regulates energy production in the brain. It pushes glucose to your brain cells so they can fire rapidly. It also regulates serotonin, the happy hormone, and dopamine, the motivation hormone. For roughly 30 years, from puberty until your early 40s, your brain is bathed in a high, rhythmic tide of estrogen. It creates a buffer. It helps you handle stress. It keeps your verbal skills sharp. Then comes perimenopause. This isn't a gentle slope down to menopause. It is a violent roller coaster. In your 40s, estrogen doesn't just drop. It spikes to record highs and then crashes to record lows, sometimes in the same day. Imagine if someone walked into your house and started flipping the dimmer switch on your lights up and down, wildly, all day long. That is what is happening to the energy supply in a woman's brain during this decade. When estrogen crashes, serotonin crashes with it. That means you can go from fine to despairing in 10 minutes. When progesterone, the calming hormone, drops, your natural anxiety buffer disappears. But here is where it gets psychologically fascinating. This is the part nobody warns men about. For decades, that high level of estrogen acted as a bonding agent. Biologically, estrogen and another hormone called oxytocin drive a woman to tend and befriend. It is an evolutionary mechanism. To ensure the survival of offspring, the female brain is wired to prioritize social harmony, to read facial expressions, to anticipate needs, and to keep the peace. It is literally a chemical veil of compliance. But during the second puberty, as estrogen levels plummet, that chemical command to please others begins to silence. The veil lifts. This is why we see such a radical personality shift. The compliance hormone is leaving the building. Suddenly, behaviors that a woman tolerated for 20 years, the socks on the floor, the passive-aggressive comments from a mother-in-law, the ungrateful boss, become intolerable. She isn't suddenly becoming mean. She is simply returning to her raw, unmasked self. The biological imperative to put everyone else first is gone. She looks at her life with clear eyes and realizes, I am tired of carrying the emotional load for this entire family. To a partner, this looks like rage, but psychologists suggest reframing it. It's not rage, it's the sudden establishment of boundaries that should have been there all along. She is waking up. We also have to look at the context. This biological storm isn't happening in a vacuum. It is happening at the most stressful time in a modern woman's life. We call this the sandwich generation squeeze. A woman in her 40s is often caring for aging parents who are declining, while simultaneously raising teenagers who are going through their own puberty. Think about that collision. You have a 14-year-old in the house whose hormones are exploding, causing mood swings and rebellion, and you have a 46-year-old mother whose hormones are crashing, causing zero tolerance. It is a clash of two puberties under one roof. It is a recipe for conflict. Then there is the symptom that scares women the most, the brain fog. Because estrogen drives glucose to the brain, when it fluctuates, the brain literally starves for energy momentarily. You might walk into a room and forget why you are there. You might be in a meeting and the word spreadsheet just disappears from your vocabulary. I cannot stress this enough. This is terrifying for high-achieving women. These are women who have run companies, managed households, and multitasked for decades. Suddenly, they feel like they are losing their edge. Many women secretly Google early-onset Alzheimer's during this phase. If that is you, take a deep breath. Your brain is not dying. It is recalibrating. It is rewiring itself to run on a different fuel system. The fog will eventually lift. And on the other side, many women report a clarity and focus that is sharper than ever before. But you have to ride out the storm of the rewire. So, how do we survive this? Let's talk about the relationship dynamic. Gentlemen, if you are watching this, you need to know that your usual toolkit won't work here. When she vents about her exhaustion or her rage, your instinct is to offer a solution. You say, well, why don't you just hire a cleaner or just take a nap? But right now, her brain is perceiving solutions as dismissals. When she is in the throes of a hormonal crash, she doesn't need a mechanic. She needs a witness. She needs you to say, I can see that you are overwhelmed, and it makes total sense why you feel that way. And you need to not take the withdrawal personally. There will be days she doesn't want to be touched. There will be days she wants to sit in a dark room alone. This is not a rejection of you. This is sensory overload. Her nervous system is frayed, and she is trying to self-regulate. Give her the space without punishing her for taking it. And for the women, we have to talk about lifestyle. You cannot live in your 40s the way you lived in your 20s. Your body is less resilient to stress. Alcohol, which used to be a way to unwind, will now wake you up at 3 a.m. with a racing heart because your liver can't process it the same way. High-intensity cardio that used to keep you slim might now just spike your cortisol and cause belly fat. This is the time to switch gears. Prioritize strength training to protect your bones and boost your metabolism. Prioritize protein. And above all, prioritize sleep. If you are suffering, talk to a doctor about hormone therapy. There is no medal for suffering in silence. Science has advanced, and there are ways to smooth out the roller coaster. I want to end on the most important part, the destination. Society tells us that youth is the only currency women have. We are taught that after 40, we become invisible. But if you look at history, and if you look at anthropology, the opposite is true. In nature, the post-reproductive phase is unique to humans and killer whales. It is called the grandmother hypothesis. Evolution keeps women alive for decades after they can have children for a reason. Why? Because this is when they become the leaders. When the noise of the pleasing hormone is gone and the roller coaster of the cycle settles, what is left is a woman who knows exactly who she is. She is no longer distracted by the biological need to please everyone. She is stable, she is wise, she is powerful. Margaret Mead, the famous anthropologist, once said, "There is no more powerful force in the world than a postmenopausal woman with zest." So the second puberty is messy. It is uncomfortable. It is confusing. But it is not the end. It is the fire you have to walk through to get to your true power. You are shedding the skin of the people pleaser so you can step into the role of the matriarch. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with your partner. The storm will pass, and the woman waiting on the other side is someone you are going to love. If this video resonated with you, please share it with your partner or your friends. And click here to watch our next video on the male midlife crisis, because men go through their own version of this too. Thanks for watching.